Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here again for Drunkard's Walk. Thanks so much for listening, and a big thank you to Jesse L.E. for our theme music and Nick Jaramillo for our artwork. Well, hopefully you are enjoying listening to this 11th season of Drunkard's Walk. We're certainly enjoying making it, and if you do like it, why not head over to our Patreon? Did you know we have a Patreon? That's right, it's patreon.com/drunkardswalkpodcast. You can head over there and you can support the podcast. That's right. For just a couple of bucks, you can support us and make sure that we can afford our hosting and all the other wonderful things that we are able to do, like our live show and things along those lines. So, hey, if you like it, go ahead and do that. You know, you can also join as a free member. That's right. Join for free and find out what's happening over on our Patreon. Maybe it's something you like. Or, throw in a couple bucks and get access to all of the archived episodes, all the old stuff. We have a couple of hidden episodes that have never been broadcast. We also have some stickers. And hey, if you go in for the highest donation amount, I think you get a t-shirt and you also get a chance to be on the show. But, you know, you can be on the show regardless if you just send us a topic suggestion. That's right. Go over to our link tree, go over to the topic suggestions and send us one, and we will get you on the show. Might not be in season 11 at this point because we're filling up quick, but maybe in season 12. Yeah, that's a possibility. All right, so there you go, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the show and enjoy this show. And I don't know how to end this, so I'm just gonna.
Hello and welcome to another invigorating episode of Drunkard's Walk, the podcast where we teach you how to bake muffins. That's right, we teach you how to bake muffins. It's me, and as always, my effervescent, southern, charming co-host, Paula Dean. Paula, say hi to the people.
Well, now, hold on now, Jethro. I think you got a couple things backwards there. See, first of all, I am not Southern, so I'll just get rid of that. And I'm also not
That's
Paula
very
Dean.
evident very quickly.
Thank you. And also, we don't teach anybody anything about muffins. What is wrong with you, man? What has happened to your brain? Has it gotten all frizzled and frazzled?
I've been watching a lot of holiday baking competition shows.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah. Well, that's not what we are, Jethro. In fact, I'm not Paula Dean. I'm Matt Hartman, the other host of Drunkard's Walk, where we walk from one Wikipedia page to another using just the links within the pages. Remember? You remember?
Yeah. That's what we do. That's what we've been doing for 11 seasons now.
Yes, exactly. I don't know how you could possibly have forgotten. We're here in 2025, an exciting new year. It's only a couple weeks old, and already, boy, the things that have happened, Jethro. I'll tell you what, I didn't have those on my bingo card.
Oh yeah, so many things that have happened between December 26th and January 14th in particular. Yeah, that I would love to reference, but we just don't have the time.
No, we don't have the time. We can't go over it. But I've been mystified and amazed, and I'm excited though. I'm excited to be here in the new year, and I'm always excited to be recording another episode of our amazing podcast with you, because it's fun. It's a fun time for everybody involved, I think. I mean, I like to think.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one's a little bit different from last episode because this one is not live in front of a massive audience. This is in person, just the two of us over Zoom, private, the way the podcast was meant to be.
Yeah, it'll be great not having the crowds of people interrupting us after every line that we say, us having to wait for the laughter. And by the way, I did cut all that out, Jethro, in the recording. I did cut out all the uproarious applause and the laughter, because I felt like it slowed down the pacing, and
Absolutely.
I feel like pacing is one of the most important things as an editor and a director myself. If it's paced incorrectly, and if things get slowed down or bogged down in a way that doesn't make the episode move forward, if there's no reason for what's being said or what's being done.
Matt, you've inadvertently broken your own rule by getting wired.
Oh no, I didn't even notice it. I didn't even notice it. Well, maybe I can cut that out too. I don't know. We'll see, Jethro. But let's get into it then. Let's just go. Where are we headed today? I guess we know our where we're starting, and our destination is. We don't have a destination yet, Jethro.
We don't, and it seems that it's this time in every episode where you get similarly flummoxed.
Mhm.
by our absence of a destination. But fortunately, we have a guest here, a very special guest, I might add,
Oh,
who is joining us live from my own office. It is my own child, Maddie Nolen. Hello, Maddie.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
It's
Hi, Maddie.
well, first of all, you're welcome, but your mother did most of the work. Yeah. So this is it. This is
Yeah.
this is happening.
This is the
Well,
last time we're ever speaking to each other.
There we go. This is it. Madeline's saying farewell, and she's going off to Andorra. To, live amongst the trees. And I, of course, will be going into my nuclear bunker in anticipation of what can only be referred to as the end times.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it makes total sense to me, and I'm so touched that that Maddie, you decided to make our podcast your farewell to your father. That's amazing for us.
of course, if I'm ever going to spend time with my parents, I need a way to monetize it.
Exactly. And what better way of monetizing something than a podcast?
Exactly. I mean, it was either that or improv comedy, so
Exactly.
my options were pretty limited.
You're going to be wealthy either way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining on here. Now, it has been a while since we've had you on as a guest, Maddie. So, bring us up to speed. What have you been up to? Where are you now in your journey through this thing we call life?
It has been. When was the last time?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember any of our episodes after we do them.
All right. I am in college still. This is my last, I just finished my penultimate semester. So we are in the gap before my final semester of college, after which point something will happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a plan.
Okay. Well, that's fair. So I'm looking back at our records here, Jethro, and I'm seeing that the last time I think that Maddie was on was back in season 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
That gives you an idea of how hard it is to get my kid to do anything with me. We've recorded 6 seasons before they've agreed to appear on the podcast again.
It's true.
Well, it's a lot more appealing now that I'm of legal drinking age.
There we go. That's right. You can fully and legal Wikipedia age
And legal Wikipedia age.
Yeah. So you can fully participate in the Drunkard's Walk experience.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah, you can actually go on Wikipedia now and look up to see if there's a page for the thing that you're giving us a suggestion to, whereas before you were 21, you are not allowed to. So anybody, by the way, folks, if you're listening and you're under 21, please don't go onto Wikipedia. You are not allowed.
Well, my folks would always let me look at a page or two at for weddings or maybe at the holidays, but...
Exactly. Maybe just the stub, but never a whole article.
No.
And certainly not a category or a list.
God.
Of course not. Well, that's great. Well, it's great to see you again. It's great to have you back on. I'm excited to find out what you've brought for us as far as a topic is concerned. So what do you got?
Yes. I would like for you to find the TV show, the link for my favorite TV show, which is called Dimension 20. It is a D&D actual play show that I had been recommended it for a long time, but I never actually found the time to sit down and play it until I was doing an internship abroad last summer. And so I didn't really have anything to do in my off hours. And also I was working at a kindergarten. And so on my off hours, I needed to lay down and consume hours of content and do nothing with my body. And it's a great show for that. It's a D&D actual play show. There's something like 23, 24 seasons of sometimes the core cast and sometimes with shorter side seasons going through a variety of genre-bending adventures. It's a delightful show.
Indeed. It is. It's on the Dropout platform, which, Matt, are you familiar with the Dropout platform?
No, Jethro, I've never been on the Dropout platform. What is that?
Yeah, so that is because you are old. Maddie introduced us to it, and I will say this, that for improvisers, the Dropout platform is an absolute must-have. There are a number of different shows. They are all populated by a handful of improvisers who are doing the Lord's work and actually making improv content that is delightful and is monetizable. And it's run by Sam Reich, who is the son of Robert Reich, Bill Clinton's former Secretary of Labor.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I know this is because Maddie has, I would say, started by forcing us, but eventually we just kept watching so many of the shows. It's really good stuff, and it's like, I don't know, $60 for a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is the next generation of it represents the full culmination of content creators bypassing the networks of distribution and creating the networks of distribution themselves so that they aren't reliant on the middlemen to reach their audience. And I can only imagine it's going to grow over time. And the only frustrating thing about Dropout is that there are not enough 50 plus years old married improvisers on it. And I'd love to do whatever I can to help them fix that tremendous problem.
Well, this is likely because the fact that you and Mom have latched on to Dropout is an accident. It's a happy accident. This is a platform targeted towards 20-year-old bisexual nerds.
The youths.
But
yes.
I'm happy that it can it's really found a market in 50-year-old improvisers.
Indeed, it really has.
Well, it's also, are you more familiar with College Humor, Matt?
Yes, I do know College Humor.
Yeah, so these are a bunch of the folks who were College Humor back in the day, and now they're Dropout. So fundamentally the same company, they became Dropout.
I see. I did not realize that there was a switch over there. So that's good to know. If I had been paying closer attention, I probably would have followed that, but I wasn't.
And we have a personal connection to this because we went to a Boom Chicago reunion a few years back, and there was like some show that Christy was on that was like Women of Boom, and one of the Boom Chicago alumni that played in that show was somebody named Allie Beardsley, who is
one of the main cast members.
One of the main cast members of Dimension 20. And also like Madeline, when Madeline saw that Christy and Allie Beardsley were doing a show together, she was freaking out.
Yeah.
Like Maddie was like, oh my
awesome.
God, you don't even know. Like it's like we're pals with Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. And like we don't know Allie personally or anything, but Christy did a show with them, and boy howdy, that won us a lot of favor with our kid for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Cool. That's amazing. Yeah. Your clout finally paid off.
Indeed. Oh yeah. It's huge. It's right up there with the time that when Maddie was really into a show called Good Luck Charlie.
Oh.
And like Ron West, another improviser that we knew, had a bit part as a hotel manager or something. We're like, we know him. And she was like, ooh, you're fame adjacent. Back when my kid was easier to impress.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this is great. I do not know this show. It makes me think of a podcast that I started listening to called Dungeons and Daddies. I don't know if you're familiar with that podcast, but it's
I've heard of a bunch of that actual play stuff that's not Dimension 20. I have not watched a ton of it. You might enjoy Not Another D&D podcast, Matt, NADPod. Two of the people on that are on Dimension 20. Emily Axford and Brian Murphy, who are both very funny and talented. But yeah, I have also heard good things about Dungeons and Daddies.
Yeah, there's in what sense is the term daddy being used there?
It's in the fatherly sense. It is the idea is it's a D&D. I'm going to put D&D in quotes because they do not follow the engine perfectly. The premise though is that they are four fathers who are transported into some other realm that is D&D like, but they are like soccer dads who are on their way to a soccer tournament and they lose their kids and then they have to find their kids, and that's the whole kind of premise behind the show. And it's just they're very quick, they're very funny. Several of them are writers. Like it's just a very well done thing, and it makes me want to like play D&D more, because as an improviser I feel like I could probably have a lot of fun with it, but I don't. So
there's a tremendous overlap between the tabletop role-playing games and the improv community.
Yeah. And that's part of what I like so much about these actual play shows is I think the beating heart behind why it's interesting to watch is the improv. Like, absolutely, it's fun to watch people play games. Like, people make careers out of watching them just play games. But I think the thing that makes it a show for Dungeons and Dragons, because like, oh, I roll a 5 and do nothing interesting is fine. But people with the improv chops can make it entertaining no matter how well they're playing the game.
Well,
so I just think it's a great way to turn improv into a more a very consistent form of content. Like, you know what you're going to be getting.
Yeah. Well, if that isn't a segue into what we do, Matt, I don't know what is.
I don't think there is a good segue into what we do, but I do love that. And I am excited to try to find this thing from Mesta Station, the two things not being connected in any way that I can think of right now off the top of my head. But it is going to be a blast to try to find it.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So I would say this, that the next question you might have is, what are you drinking? And now my child is 21 years old, and so has finally a decent answer to that question. So this is, if you recall from last week's episode, the delightful Dave Foreman at our live show got us a bottle of Choya Umeshu, which is a, let me read the top of it here. It is pronounced Wumeshu. Am I pronouncing that correctly to the best of your...
Umeshu.
Okay. Yeah. My daughter speaks Japanese and I do not. It is a traditional aperitif dessert liqueur made from the ume fruit. Enjoy on the rocks or mix with a dry sparkling wine. And I will say that the bottle has these very disconcerting plum-like objects.
I would imagine that they are plums.
Indeed, but they look like preserved testicles at the bottom of the thing. So that's what we
want to see, Jethro.
And well, you know what? I'm having a ball with this wine. So we've served it over the rocks, and we're going to have our first sip of it live on air. So you'll capture our genuine reaction.
Okay. I will see it, and everyone else will hear it.
Boy, that is sweet.
It's very sweet.
Oh my God. It's so sweet.
This is grape juice. This is grape juice.
This is very, oh God, that definitely needs to be cut with some...
perhaps some dry white wine?
Some dry Prosecco.
As it is suggested on the bottle?
Indeed, yeah. That is very, very sweet, but tasty.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a good mixer for something else.
It's 14.6% alcohol by volume and does not taste that way.
So 14.6 is actually pretty not that heavy.
I would not think that this is alcoholic.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of thing that you think is not alcoholic, and then you have half a bottle of it, and then you wake up in a van.
Have you ever had soju?
I have not.
Soju is very much like this, and they sell it at 7-Eleven in these bottles that look like it's like a Dr. Pepper size bottle.
Yeah.
And it does not taste very much alcoholic at all, but it is like, I don't know if you Google it, it's very alcoholic by volume. So you drink the whole thing and then you're like, I can kill God. And like, it's very strong. And they sell it in those deceitful bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Nietzsche was drinking, actually, I think.
Thoughts of deicide. Yeah. What about you, Matt? What are you having?
I just want to say real quick, you say 14.6 isn't high. That actually is pretty high, because you have to think about this. This isn't like a shot that you're drinking. You would be drinking like a glass of this. So 14.6, if you think of like a beer that's 14.6, that would be incredibly high.
This is not something you're going to drink a glass of. This is very concentrated sweetness, so you're going to cut it with something.
I see. But if you're mixing
less
with
alcohol
wine, yeah, I guess that's true. What am I drinking? I am drinking a bourbon. Hey, shocker. This is a fantastic bottle of bourbon that was given to me by my good friend Jesse Evans, who we had on the podcast last season. This is Angel's Envy Triple Oak.
Ooh,
yeah. It has been finished in a blend.
Oaked thrice?
Yeah, in a blend of Hungarian. Sorry, I can't read things anymore. Chinkapin and French oak barrels. So there you go. And it is a tasty little bourbon, I got to say. It is 46%. It's a 92 proof. So yes. I won't be floating away quite as much as I sometimes am, but it's great.
So I will just say this, so I lived on a street called Pin Oak Lane in a part of Arlington, Texas called the Oaks. And a block away from our house was a street called Chinkapin. And grew up by the street my entire childhood. And since, outside of references to that particular street, what you just said was the first time I've ever heard the word Chinkapin in the wild. So I'm guessing it's not an incredibly common oak.
I have no idea. I mean, like I say, it must be a particular place, right? Because this says Hungarian, Chinkapin, and French. So it must be a type of region, perhaps, or I don't know what Chinkapin is. It
could be. I would guess.
Tree.
I would guess maybe Native American by the sound of the word, but that's just an ignorant guess.
I'm looking it up
All
right
right.
now. A chinkapin oak is there's an Allegheny chinkapin. It's a tree. It's definitely a tree.
Yeah. I know it's a tree. I guess the word chinkapin, like the oak covers the tree part. So chinkapin is a modifier for a type of oak. So
Mhm.
that's the etymology that is in question.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we are ready to go off, and we have only to thank my lovely child Maddie for joining us on the podcast and having some of our incredibly sweet umeshu.
Yes, I'm gonna go put some dry white wine in this.
I appreciate that. I think you should. Make sure you give your mother the appropriate warning. Thank you so much, Maddie.
Have fun.
We will.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Matt. We did it. We've talked to the guests. We've consumed sweet plum wine with
Oh,
the
you
guests. I have, yeah. And I'm eager to. I'm going to finish this off, but I'm eager to mix this with the other side. I'm not a big aperitif guy, but I will say this: I will drink that whole bottle.
Oh,
One way or
wow.
another.
Okay. It's that good.
One way
huh?
or another, it's going down.
All right. Well, good. I love to hear that.
It's fine. No, it just needs to be cut with something that's dry. It's like I tell you what it's like. It's like a sherry. So you need a little something drier to go with it.
Okay. All right. Well, I do it, man. But
All right.
before you do, let's do a walk. Let's see if we can get from Mesta Station to Dimension 20.
I love that. You know what else we should do, Matt? We should guess how many links it's going to take to get us from Mesta Station. Is it Mesta or Meta Station?
I have Mesta, Mesta.
Yeah, that's it then. To Dimension 20 and see what we can do there. I will say, and I'm on it just to prepare for our walk. It is the smallest. It is the smallest Wikipedia page I think we've ever had on the show.
Cool.
Cool. All right. So are we guessing a number here?
I am guessing a number right now. Yes.
All right. I am also guessing a number. I have guessed that number. It is official. And we're ready to get going here.
All right. Well, let's do it then, man. Let's jump on board the T, as they call it in Pittsburgh. And for those that aren't from Pittsburgh, there's a light rail, as they call Pittsburgh light rail. They call it the T. It is, I guess, in like the South Hills, maybe like it's above ground. Downtown, it's underground. On the North Shore, it's above ground. But like it doesn't even go to the North Hills at all. It's a very limited service. Is how I've always felt about it.
Well, I lived in the South Hills, so we actually rode it a fair amount. Not a ton, but it's very convenient going downtown. In fact, New Year's Eve, we would often ride it, so we didn't have to fight traffic and the drunks, et cetera, et cetera.
That's smart.
Yeah, we're very clever people.
I wish there was better public transit in Pittsburgh, honestly. There used to be a lot more bus lines and things like that you could potentially take to get around. But even now, like that, the buses have gone kind of to the wayside, right? You can go to like park and rides and take them, but there's very few buses that you can even take. So I find it frustrating, especially having lived in DC, where like the metro is the way that people get around a lot of the time. It's very frustrating.
Yeah. All right.
You're right. This is a very small page. Everything seems to be related to Allegheny County, light rail. I see Bethel Park on here, which is, I believe, the area that you lived in. Is that right? Does that sound right?
I lived in Upper St. Clair, which is a Bethel Park adjacent.
Okay.
Yeah. So close enough.
Charleroi, Castle Shannon. PCC is on here, which is the President's Conference Committee. A streetcar design that was first built in the United States in the 1930s. So there you go. But yeah,
okay.
there's not much on here, man. Where would you say we should try to get out of? I mean, I guess light rail, which is the way we came in. Oh no, that takes you to Pittsburgh light rail. Something that's not local seems like the best choice, but the only thing not local is PCC.
Yeah, I would say that we almost by design have to jettison our non-geographical preference because everything is geographical in some way, shape, or form.
I do see interurban is a link, but it again is a type of electric railway. So it doesn't feel like the greatest thing out. But PCC and Interurban are the only two that I would be most likely to go towards. I feel like these Pittsburgh ones and Port Authority of Allegheny County, like they don't feel like good paths out of here.
Okay, so what do you want?
Either Interurban or PCC feel like the ones that are not specifically connected to like Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh Railway essentially, or like like you say, geographic. Oh, even these geographic ones, they are stations on the lines.
All right then. I'm down with a PCC or something like that. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot to choose from, so no point in fighting over which of the very unsatisfying options we take.
Yeah, it's a question of which of these pages is going to have the most to work with, right? I think is my thought.
Yeah, I would say PCC, the President's Conference Committee, a streetcar design that was first built in the U.S. in the 1930s. That's at least going to get us into like mass transit, and which could get us to other cities, etc. Also, if we can get to Clinton and his Secretary of Labor, Robert Reich, we can get to Sam Reich and Dimension 20 through Dropout.
Interesting. Yeah, I suppose that's true. All right, let's go to PCC then.
All right. Oh, there's a link to World War II, our old favorite.
Yeah, great. That'll be super.
I will say this is a much larger line, much larger page, I should say, rather. So this has a lot of options here for us, which is great.
Yeah, a lot of them are related, obviously, to mass transit. So far I haven't seen anything too promising to get out of here. But you're right. There are a lot of extra things on here. A lot more things on here than were on that last page.
So I do see Westinghouse and General Electric, which were both early sponsors of television programs. So we could theoretically get into entertainment through like the General Electric Variety Hour or something along those lines. Not that this would necessarily be on the GE page, but just as a thinking out loud kind of idea.
I see that. I see Dead Man Switch on here. That's a kind of fun one.
It really is. It really is.
I see Fictional Brakes. Oh, sorry, Friction Brakes. Never mind.
Oh yeah, fictional brakes are terrible because whenever you go to use them, they're not there.
Yeah, well, or they're just brakes in a TV series or a movie or something like that. I mean, they might
exactly.
I'm looking for any sort of connection into entertainment here to see if there's any sort of because there used to be shows about streetcars, right? How about a streetcar named Desire? That was a whole thing.
That's more of a play than a show.
Well, but they made a movie, so
they really did.
That could get you there.
That they made it.
I don't see like Hollywood or anything on here yet. Even California, I don't see anything past Texas. Seems to not exist on this page so far.
Okay, so I'm down at the bottom here. So Undersea also, there is, it mentions that there are two spiritual successors developed by the UMTA. And spiritual successors is linked, which is its own thing. Now, Dropout, the platform, is a spiritual successor to College Humor. Not that I think it's going to be listed on there, but spiritual successor feels like a fairly broad concept that could get us out of mass transit and into something more interesting. Just as an idea that I'm throwing out there.
I mean, I think Dead Man Switch plays that same role. But I hear what you're saying. I definitely don't think that, like you say, that spiritual successor is going to have that on the page. I do see some California, by the way, and it is San Francisco that is talked about here. Specifically, Fisherman's Wharf is on here. Okay. Which I know is a geographic location, but I feel like it is a well-known, has appeared in a lot of entertainment stuff. And I wonder if we went to Fisherman's Wharf, if there might be a link to, Fisherman's Wharf in TV shows or movies or, The Rock. Not The Rock like Dwayne Johnson, but The Rock like the movie.
Oh, well, he also star in that movie, which I assume is terrible, San Andreas.
Oh, yes, he did. He did. But I think that's more LA based, isn't it? Because San Andreas Fault is San Andreas Fault's in LA, is it not?
I don't know. I've
You
never
live
really.
in LA?
I did, but it's not like I was like, tell me about the exciting geological formations that are nearby.
Why not?
Because I'm a different kind of nerd, Matt. I'm a
Oh,
different
I
kind.
see. I see. Okay, okay.
Um,
I see Mitsubishi Electric Corporation on here. I know they make a lot of the jumbotrons, or they're called Diamond Visions for like and TVs and things like that. So that might be a path to television or broadcasting in some kind.
I mean, I prefer Fisherman's Wharf. I feel like while technically geographical, it's a small enough geography that doesn't apply. I feel like anything below the level of city
Mm-hmm.
is acceptable from a geographic standpoint.
I would agree with that. I'm happy to go to Fisherman's Wharf if you think that that's a good way to go.
All right, where is she located? Where's the link on the page?
You will find that under F Market and Wharves, which is under the PCC Fleets section. It's right above Toronto streetcar system and right above models based on the PCC streetcar.
Okay. So the Castro, the Ferry Building, the Embarcadero, and the Fisherman's Wharf.
Mhm.
All
Let's
right,
do it,
Fisherman's
man.
Wharf. Fisherman's Wharf it is. Here we go. Fisherman's Wharf, San Francisco. Have you been to Fisherman's Wharf?
I have, as a matter of fact, yes.
It's a lovely place. We went to Alcatraz, and I believe that the boat departed from Fisherman's Wharf or nearby, if memory serves.
Is that the
I will
place
say
where
that not a very long page.
No, it isn't, unfortunately. Is that the place where the there's like sea lions or something like off the side? You can go look
Yeah,
at?
I believe so. Yeah, there is a sea lion. In fact, it's mentioned right here. There's a sea lion colony next to Pier 39. They took up residence months before the Loma Prieta earthquake in 1989.
There you go.
They're always trying to warn us. Fleet Week, the Blue Angels. Now,
Yeah.
some of these things are government related, which again could get us into Bill Clinton. Although I will say James Bond is linked here in the in popular culture section. So as you predicted, there is Full House has an episode, Comet's Excellent Adventure, filmed
Yes.
at the work.
Yeah, that actually is going to be my recommendation is to go through Full House, because that gets us into comedy, it gets us into television, it gets us into the whole 9 yards.
Does it though? Okay, but like comedy and television are very, very broad topics.
Mm.
And I will say that we're looking for a specific comedic property, which, by the way, not a ton of overlap between Dropout and the programming that happens there and the legacy media stuff. Like, this is a new generation of creators who don't overlap with the legacy stuff. So I'm not sure if going through mainstream stuff is going to get us there in a way that you think might happen, because they're both comedy.
But I mean, College Humor has connections to like Will Ferrell and things like that, right?
Does it? I mean,
Does it not?
Like Funny or Die like has connections to Will Ferrell.
Oh,
but
you're right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Funny or Die. Yeah. No,
yeah, I just don't like. I've watched a pretty large amount of programming on the Dropout platform, and there is very little overlap with legacy media figures. The only people that I see that I recognize are people like Ben Schwartz and Paul F. Tompkins, who are big in the improv, improv famous, as they say, which is another way of saying not famous.
Yeah.
So I would just be cautionary about going through, more mainstream comedic outlets, because I don't know that it's going to get us closer to the sort of niche thing that we're looking at. And also, quite frankly, Full House, is that really comedy? Is it?
Well, it purported to be.
All right, but I don't have a better.
I mean, we have Ripley's Believe It or Not on here, which is that was a television show for a while, but also like it ran across different types of media, right? So I don't know. I'm not saying there's something there necessarily, but I do want to bring it up at least.
Okay. So I will say this, that in the purple area down below, San Francisco attractions, there is a large list of things, which includes some entertainment venues like the Fillmore, which is a legendary performance venue. Um, yeah, but I'm really grasping at straws here. I don't know that I have a fully formed thesis as to where that might take us.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the James Bond section here because I wonder if James Bond potentially gets us into parody and then the type of humor we're looking for. But even that seems a little too. Even the parodies of James Bond seem a little too mainstream based on what you're saying.
Yeah. Um, is there anything that gets us to Bill Clinton? Or secretaries of labor, because I feel like the Robert Reich link is a real possibility.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that, but you may be right. So I think there are some things. First of all, CIA is on here. Also, Christopher Walken is on here, and Christopher Walken runs the gambit on appearances and all sorts of different things that he has done. And I wonder if there's an overlap with Christopher Walken, and not necessarily where we're going, but people who are connected to him, and maybe even into, I don't know if he appeared on, DC specials and the 4th of July in Washington DC and things like that. Maybe, possibly.
Okay, yeah, no, I like Chris Walken. I think that is definitely a possibility.
You think he's a good thing to look at? Christopher Walken, 3 mice fell into a vat of cream. This is my Christopher Walken impression.
I know it's delightful. I mean,
did you know I'm not even Southern? Did you know that? I bet you
wow,
did.
Matt, where did you go? Oh, you're oh, sorry. I thought Paula Dean had
It's
joined
me,
us.
Paula Dean. I'm putting hamburgers between donuts.
Wow. I mean, there was a time when and sadly, my introduction to Christopher Walken impressions was Kevin Spacey, because he did one that was like, oh yeah, I didn't know people did, and then everybody started doing his Christopher Walken impression.
Yes, right.
And once everybody sort of coalesces around like, oh, this is how you impersonate that person, it kind of loses some of its flavor. But
for
he
sure,
is definitely a singular guy. But I like Chris Walken as an option.
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right.
I really like that commercial that they made a couple years ago with the car commercial. Did you see that one where everyone's doing Christopher Walken impressions at him?
I probably saw it, but I don't recall it off the top of my head.
No, I recommend it if you haven't seen it. Go check it out on. Holy cow! Christopher Walken's first name is Ronald.
What?
He was born Ronald Walken, which I understand why you would change that. Ronald Walken sounds. It doesn't. It's difficult to say. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Ronald Walken. Ronald.
It
Walken.
really is.
But we have a lot of links on here. I mean, there's a link to Wedding Crashers, which he was in, of course, which doesn't actually help us at all. For some reason I was thinking Will Ferrell was in Wedding Crashers. He's not.
So there is a link to the More Cowbell sketch, which Will Ferrell is in.
Yes.
So that could get us to Funny or Die, which could get us to sort of like internet comedy media, which could get us to College Humor. So I do like that.
I wonder if Saturday Night Live is linked on here as well. I wonder if Saturday Night Live gets us to those types of things, because I wonder if anybody who was associated at any point, like somebody who was hired as a writer for one season and then was let go, went on to some stuff on this platform.
Maybe, but the problem is Saturday Night Live has been on for like literally 50 years.
Yeah.
So there's not everything is going to be listed on the page.
Mm-hmm.
We had the same problem with The Simpsons a few seasons back, where we went on the Simpsons page thinking, we'll easily get to this thing that was on the Simpsons, and then we did not, because the Simpsons has been on for less time than SNL has been on for.
Right. No, for sure. I agree with you. I'm looking down through the years here, because I know he has done some comedy stuff, even though comedy is not really his bread and butter. But I feel like he has been involved in, as we say, like, that sketch and Wedding Crashers and things like that. Joe Dirt, apparently. He's in Joe Dirt.
I mean, so there's a whole section on his SNL stuff.
Okay.
So there's a link to Will Ferrell here, right? And Rachel Dratch. Look at that right away.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking to see who else
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
we have links to here because there might be somebody. John Favreau's on here. Barry Sonnenfeld. None of these are going to be very helpful. Is there any links to like any podcasts he was in?
Okay, all right. I have something here.
Oh, what do you got?
So Jason Sudeikis is linked here.
Hmm.
This is because he apparently did something with Walken. Now, Jason Sudeikis did Boom Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who else did Boom Chicago?
You.
Allie Beard. Well, in addition to me, but I'm not going to be listed on the Boom Chicago page. I'm not Wikipedia worthy. Allie Beardsley, who is on Dimension 20, did Boom Chicago. So if Jason Sudeikis can get us to the Boom Chicago page and there's a list of famous alumni, and knowing the people who run Boom Chicago, I would be shocked if there wasn't a list of famous alumni on their Wikipedia page. We could get to Allie Beardsley and get to Dimension 20 through that.
I'm not saying no because I do agree that will definitely get us there. My biggest concern right now is that it feels like a long path. It is a path, and I'm not saying no, but I would like to see if there's anything that we feel like could be potentially shorter.
I'm totally fine with that. Yeah. American bisexual male actors. There you go.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, didn't Madeline say that that the platform was geared toward 20-something bisexual viewers?
Oh, absolutely. The problem is, are we going to recognize any of the names from Dimension 20? If they were listed there. And while I enjoy some of the content, I struggle with names of people I know in real life, let alone people I've just seen on TV.
Yes.
And usually refer to as, oh, the blonde lady or the guy with the beard.
Yeah.
And by the way, the blonde lady and the guy with the beard, I was referring to Jessica Tandy and Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando's the guy with the beard?
Streetcar Named Desire. Again, not only am I bad with names, I'm bad with faces as well.
Okay, here's something I want to put out there is that there is down at the bottom there are awards for Christopher Walken. It's kind of a big drop down thing, and one of them is the Hasty Pudding Men of the Year. Now, Hasty Pudding is the Harvard like comedic show, right? So we have a lot of names on here, maybe that help us out. I don't know. Bob Odenkirk, is this possible, or is he even too out of the age range of these folks?
I don't know that I'm seeing it. Where is the Hasty Pudding?
So go all the way to the bottom, see awards for Christopher Walken, and then drop that down.
Awards and nomination. What do you mean drop that down?
So all the way at the bottom, under the external links and the purple boxes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was an external link. Yeah. Good heavens. Hasty Pudding. I will also say I saw a link to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden gets us to Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton gets us to Robert Reich, and Robert Reich gets us to Sam Reich, and Sam Reich gets us to Dimension 20.
Well, Sam Reich gets us to Dropout, not necessarily to Dimension 20, right? Or is he on that show?
He's like one of the producers. Yeah, I'm not seeing. Okay, so there are a lot of interesting names here, a lot of very funny people. It also seems like is it Hasty Pudding Men of the Year? It's a very specific type that they have.
Yes, yeah. What I was hoping for, what I was hoping to find somewhere here was someone somehow connected to like Dungeons and Dragons in some way or another, because they made that movie recently, right, with Chris Pine and also other people who I can't think of right now who else is in it. So my hope was maybe we could get a link into somebody who was in Dungeons and Dragons, and then Dungeons and Dragons gets us into Dimension 20 pretty quickly. Yeah. But I don't have a lot on here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
At least not that I see that is going to get us there super quickly. I can't even think of who else is in that. What's her name from Lost, right? Wasn't she in it? From Fast and the Furious.
I couldn't tell you her name if my life depended on it.
Yeah.
There is a link to Alan Arkin, which theoretically under the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, because he won for Little Miss Sunshine, which could get us to improv and whatnot. But I don't see that getting us there any quicker than Joe Biden or Jason Sudeikis. So yeah, I'm going to say that my money's on Jason Sudeikis for getting us to Boom Chicago, getting us to Allie Beardsley. That's what I feel. We also, by the way, since he's an improviser, gets us into a realm of other improvisers, which could get us to Dimension 20 that way.
Right. And that's the reason I will go with you, because I don't know that I necessarily think that the path that you're explaining will be the fastest, but there may be a faster path through him. So I'm happy to give it a go.
All right. There we go. We're ready to go. So it's under legacy and popularity, appearances on Saturday Night Live. About 2/3 of the way down in that section, there is a list of various sketches and whatnot it's right by a picture of Walken in 2012. So if you find the picture of Walken in 2012, there is a link to Jason Sudeikis right there.
Yeah, I got it. All right, let's go.
And click it on that link. So Jason Sudeikis, who did stuff at I.O. Chicago, which is not linked here, interestingly enough. Yeah, and neither is Boom Chicago even mentioned at the top of the page, which is unfortunate. I would have thought for sure that the Boom Chicago people would have gotten in there and done that stuff.
Daniel Jason Sudeikis, as a matter of fact. And Jason Sudeikis, I got to say, first of all, Comedy Sports is linked, which is that's the improv that I did for years and years. Jason Sudeikis was supposed to speak at the SHRM conference last year, just didn't show up. He was paid, just didn't show up, which I thought was kind of terrible. But he was born in Fairfax, Virginia, which I didn't realize. That's crazy. Yeah.
He's also George Wendt's nephew. So there's links to Joe Biden and Mitt Romney here. There is a link to Boom Chicago under Career Beginnings.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. It's I.O. Theater as well, although I'm sure there's other lots of people who went through I.O. who might be linkable to Dimension 20. I just want to see if there's other folks who are perhaps linked here that might get us to Dimension 20 quicker. He's had quite the career, and good for him. God bless.
Yeah, I mean, Ted Lasso, that's kind of one of the most popular shows around, or was a couple years ago for sure.
Indeed. He was the executive producer of the comedy series Detroiters, which people in Detroit are bananas about in the same way that Pittsburgh people are bananas about anything related to Pittsburgh. I will say Detroiters is on, I believe, Netflix now. I watched it for the first time very recently. Really enjoyed it. It's quite funny.
Okay.
That Tim Robinson and Sam Richardson are very, very funny. And it does a really good job of having jokes just come out of left field that are quite fun. All right. I am still looking here.
I am also still looking. I did not realize he was in a stage version of Dead Poets Society. That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. A lot of acting credits here, various TV and movie things.
Mm-hmm. A lot of, again, down at the bottom, a lot of awards, very similarly to the last page that we were just on, with a bunch of awards.
Indeed. Yeah, he Ted Lasso did well for him, and many others. And God bless.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
Indeed. Yeah.
Good for you.
I'm
not seeing anything that is jumping out at me as far as like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know that he. Oh yeah, there he is, the Mandalorian. Do you think that there is any chance of like a link just through? I guess that's not going to be any better. I was going to say through like just improv in general or something like that, but that's going to be that's not going to work.
I'm looking for so they have all of these various category links, and there's not one for like famous improvisers. There's American sketch comedians, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I think Boom Chicago is the way to go.
Boom Chicago is the way to go. Well, okay. I guess Bill Hader, Joe Latrulio. What is Crackle? Crackle is an American-based video streaming service.
Where's this?
This is under early work, and it says in July 2008 he co-starred with Bill Hader and Joe Latrillo in the web series The Line on Crackle. And Crackle is a American-based video streaming service.
All right.
I wonder if that gets us into those types of services a little bit more quickly than, I mean, because your path will absolutely work. We know it will work. Well, we know it'll work as long as Andrea Beardsley is on that page, right? Which she probably is.
Yeah. Allie Beardsley.
I'm sorry, Allie. No, I'm sorry. I said Andrea. And so we know for sure that that's a thing. Is it a little bit more fun to try to go through something that we don't know for sure? Or do we just say, let's take the path because we know it's definitely going to work? I guess there's a chance that Crackle gets us there more quickly, but it's not a good chance. So I'm not gonna die on this hill, but I just.
Yeah, I would say also, like, can you name a single, other than the one that's listed here, can you name a single thing that was on Crackle?
No, but I couldn't name you anything that was on Dropout either. So that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not wild about Crackle. I hear you, Matt. I hear your logic.
All right.
I just don't think it's more. I just don't want to end up in a postmodern jukebox situation where we go for an adventure and then end up in hell.
I don't think we would try to go on an adventure on that. I think we just couldn't find it. But all right, that's fine. You want to go to Boom Chicago? Let's go to Boom.
I do. Boom Chicago.
All right.
Bing, bang, boom.
Is this the first time we've been on this page?
Maybe.
We've danced around it many times, but I don't know that we've actually made it there. Can you tell me why it's called Boom Chicago without looking at it?
Yeah, so my understanding, based off of conversations with the founders, is they wanted something that didn't have like a translation issue that sounded exciting.
Okay.
And they were Northwestern grads who did it. So, and Chicago being the place for improv, Chicago was like a safe bet. Like, Chicago doesn't translate into anything in Dutch. So sure. Chicago was recognizable, and Boom was like exciting, loud, brash, so I think that was the thinking behind it.
Got it. All right, cool. Well, let's go down through here. I do see a link under notable alumni.
Do you now?
Allie Beardsley.
Yay!
And a link to Dimension 20.
What? Oh my God, directly?
There's a parenthesis right after her name listing a couple of the things that she's in, and Dimension 20 is one of them.
That is fantastic. That is wonderful. That is fantastic. Look at this. So many people here listed that I performed with, and my name nowhere to be found. Nowhere
add it
whatsoever.
on, Jethro. Come on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Get your editing hat on.
I really should. All right. Well, let's go ahead and click on Allie Beardsley. Sorry, Dimension 20 then. Since that is where
Dimension
we're going.
20. That's what you want to do.
Right.
A tabletop role-playing game show that produced by and broadcast on Dropout, created and generally hosted by Brennan Lee Mulligan as the show's regular dungeon master.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
There you go.
Excellent.
That's amazing.
That is wonderful. I am very excited that we got there, and I think that my kid will be excited that we got there as well. And I don't want to read too much because who knows where we're going next week. But Matt, we did it.
That's right. We did indeed. And it did surprise me that it was on that page. I thought for sure it would not be, but gosh, that's great that they included some of her credits.
Yeah. And just by the way, and this is not me shaming you at all, just for our listeners, I believe that Allie Beardsley goes by they, them pronouns. And I try to
excuse me. Very sorry. It is one of those assumptions that people still make, and it is the wrong one to do, but it's definitely something that happens. So my apologies.
And it's no, I know it wasn't any ill intent. And I will say this has been very interesting to watch because Allie's been on a lot of Dropout shows, and I think their sort of public transition has been documented through that. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those things where, like, that's not my experience, so I'm not always attenuated to it, but like, they're very funny, and I think that the odds that they listen to this are very small, but I just want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can to acknowledge people's preferred pronouns when we can.
Oh, for sure. If yes, I agree 100%. It is one of those. Yeah, it is one of those things that is a it's a remnant of past the past, right?
We're-
It is a
we're
remnant
Old
of
dogs.
Yes.
We're old dogs who are being taught new tricks. That's what we are.
It's true. It's true. Open to learning them, not always learning them as quickly as we should. So there you
Indeed,
go.
but that also goes with literally everything else in my life.
Yeah.
So Matt, we've made it. We've made it to our destination. Here we are. Now we just need to find out who is the more accurate guesser between the two of us.
That is correct. We do need to do that. And so it took us 6 to get there. Jethro, what did you guess?
I guessed 7. That was my
7.
guess.
Jethro,
Yes.
that's the same thing that I guessed was 7.
Look at you.
I'll tell you, I had 6 written down, and then you were like, what a small page before I even opened it. And I was like, oh, cross out 6. Let's go for 7. So dumb. But there it is. Another tie.
Another tie. Were we tied last week as well?
We tied last week because it was 7. You guessed 8, and I guessed 6.
That's right.
And
Oh my
so,
heavens.
yeah, we had a tie last week. And Jethro, here's what I want to tell you, though. I did go back and take a look at this real quick.
Yeah.
I went back to Crackle.
Yeah.
And Crackle has a link to Dropout on it.
Does it now?
It does, which then gets you to Dimension 20 from the Dropout page. But you've got to go to Crackle, then Dropout, then Dimension 20, versus what we just did, which was Boom Chicago, straight to Dimension 20. So it would have given us one more link. We still would have tied, but we both would have been right.
Oh, well, you
So
know
there
what?
you go.
As long as you don't win, I feel right anyway, Matt.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, this has been great. And oh, I got to tell you one more thing. Crackle, I can name another show now that I'm looking at it. It's called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. That was a Crackle show.
Oh, wow.
Bet you didn't know that.
I did not know that. I love that show.
Now you
But
do.
thank you to the good people at Crackle. I'm sorry your whole platform didn't work out, but
I assume that's what happened. I don't even know. Did it go away? Is it totally gone?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like
I
it is.
believe
Well, anyway, I'm excited that we got here. I'm excited for the walk. I'm excited to see where we go next week. And Jethro, I hope you're having a great mid-January and enjoying the last few days of the Joe Biden presidency. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's been fine. I will say that my enthusiasm for the Joe Biden presidency is inversely proportional to its length.
Yes.
Day one, I was super jazzed. Day 1,291. I'm like, okay, it's God
Yeah.
bless.
Well, I'm enjoying the fact that it is not the next presidency. So that's all I'm enjoying.
Well, we'll
so-
see you all in 4 years after we emerge from our bunkers with the conclusion of this season of the Drunkard's Walk.
No, Jethro, we have to be here for our fans. They need us in this time. So I'll tell you what, the day after Inauguration Day, we'll give you another episode. That's what we're doing. I'm saying that's it. That's how it goes, Jethro.
That's our pledge to you.
That's right. That's right. Well, enjoy the rest of your time, everybody. Enjoy your next week. And I guess we'll see you next week.